And we are back in Magic the Gathering Arena, and I have a lamentation to make about the arena's economy. Not necessarily the arena's economy. I think Wizards of the Coast are doing a phenomenal job starting to loosen up a lot of the rares, a lot of the mythic cards with the gold packs and this and that. I think they're doing a phenomenal job. Love to see more of that. Love to see this be free-to-play player friendly. Love to see this be budget player friendly. But every time a set is released, FOMO starts to set in, and even the most disciplined of players fall into a little trap. Phyrexia All Will Be One of the most anticipated sets to come out in a long time. Also uses some of my favorite mechanics with poison, and did I mention that there's poison in here? Really love the mechanics, really love what this set is trying to do. Also really love some of the individual creatures in this set. These guys are phenomenal, but remember, this account has very little money spent on it. I try to actually have two accounts, one completely free to play and one very budget friendly, but you know, the day job thing kind of got in the way of holding up two accounts, so I went back to being a very budget player where I spend $50 each set coming out for one of the cool new releases that they have. Not necessary at all, but that's, I gotta make content for you guys, so I have to have some sort of the cards that we want to be seeing and be able to build up the wild card so that I could get the better stuff later on. But with that out of the way, let's talk about what we should be doing as budget players and how Wizards of the Coast is going to try to pull you away from that. I think it's a bad idea for Wizards to pull you away from that. This is just a side note, because it can drive people away from the game because of the buyer remorse. You spend a lot of money joining into premier drafts because they are available. Yeah, these premier drafts are available on day one whenever a new set releases, but let's see how much 1,500 gems actually costs. Getting into a premier draft will cost you roughly $10, and you'll have 100 gems remaining. If we are to chase the hype and get into it and try to get those premier drafts, get into premier drafts, or even just buy packs, and then you break wild cards to get the cards you really want, there's a lot of cards being opened. There are a lot of cards being opened, and very few of them, maybe 10, 20 cards, will make it into the metagame. But what did that cost? What did that cost to get all of those cards? I would say probably more than people are willing to admit. And we're crafting cards that don't necessarily ever get played again. That's why I am suggesting that we do not chase cards. I've said it before, we should not be chasing decks. Let the cards come to you. There is a very, very, very good reason why quick drafts are not available for the newest set right out of the gate, because Wizards doesn't make nearly as much money that way, though I think that it should be. They should be more friendly to the free-to-play base for the budget base, because what is a card game without players? I am going to have to wait for this quick draft to expire and for us to get Phyrexia All Will Be One as a quick draft in order to build out this account a little bit. But that actually gives me an opportunity. This gives me an opportunity to play the things that I already have, to watch what other people are doing, to watch people play Mandrake, to watch people play Rot Priest, right? Wrong deck. But allow people to play Rot Priest. Allow people to play these cards that I anticipate are going to be very good and see how they fare against what is already in the meta. By doing this, you are allowing yourself the opportunity to not craft a card, see if it's actually good, and then, if it is actually good, craft and play that card. So, don't feel like you're missing out. FOMO. Don't get a sense of FOMO. Investors, whenever they get senses of FOMO, that's when they lose money. You bought GameStop at $400 a share? I'm sorry. It sucks. But that's what FOMO does. Do not fall into that trap. Instead, be stoic, be disciplined, and craft only the things that you either are almost all the way there anyway, or that just fits your playstyle and you want to play. Any old YouTuber comes out with a big boy deck that just looks so fun and they won all the games that they played with it. My question is, did they really? Or is that just happy editing? Don't learn by making the mistake of crafting everything that you see. Let others make that mistake. And when they make the mistake, then you can learn what really is going to work. While we're on the topic of chasing the hype, we also kind of need to talk about this right here. Oh yes, the ladder. How high do you have to be satisfied with your performance on ladder? Does ladder even matter? Well, for me, I play only in ladder. I don't play in play because I like to see how my brews line up with the current meta and how to shift around that meta, find new holes, find new meanings for cards. I enjoy playing in ladder, but you could get your dailies done in play. You get mastery track process in play. So it doesn't really necessarily matter. I have a 9-to-5 job. I work 5 days a week, 8 hours a day. Well, I actually work 4 days a week, 10 hours a day, because I like my free time. I like my 3-day weekends. That doesn't give me a lot of time to actually move into Mythic on a regular basis. I have moved into Mythic quite a few times, but I don't have the time to consistently play in Mythic. And really, it doesn't matter. If you look at these rewards, how long does it take you to get the Mythic? 20 hours? 30 hours? 40 hours? You get 5 packs, 2 styles, and 1,000 coins. Right? And if you're getting into Platinum, you at least get the 2 card styles, 1,000 coins, and 3 packs. That's the only difference here. It's not where you're going to get the most bang for your buck. So if you're worried about your rank, don't be. There's no reason to be worried about your rank. A much more effective way to spend time in Magic the Gathering Arena, and I'm saying this purely from an enjoyment frame of mind, is to go into quick drafts. That 5,000 coins that you could get pretty well in a week, pretty much in a week, you could probably get 5,000 coins in a week. You get a quick draft. Not only does this give you opportunity to get gems, it also gives you the opportunity to play matches, to play a limited format, to see how people are playing these cards in limited situations, see what's good in limited, have fun with playing cards that you don't otherwise already own, playing archetypes that you don't normally play. It allows you to play at least 3 rounds. Even if you lose all 3 rounds, you get the cards that you opened here, you get an extra pack and 50 gems. That is pretty good bang for your buck, especially thinking about the opportunity to play something you have not played yet. This game is about having fun and trying cards. It's a card game. You want to be playing cards. After you've let other people craft all of the cards, they're going to get buyer's remorse because a lot of those cards are not going to be actually played very often in the meta. And the cards that do make it all the way into the meta are the cards that you should craft with your economy. If and only if it is a play style that you like to play. If it is far removed from that, you might want to avoid it anyway. I've crafted a lot of cards that I rarely ever play, like Mechanized Warfare. Mono Red's really good, but I am really bad at Mono Red. Yeah, it's not my play style. I'm not fantastic with these kind of burn aggro decks. I like control-y stuff. I like stuff like this, where you're just trying to get value over time with a lot of your cards and trying to outlast your opponent. Once you get to turn 7 or 8, then you start to take over the game with your big boys coming onto the field, as well as getting that constant value out of your early game plays. I like this kind of deck because it's my play style. This is what I play. And if you're crafting cards all over the place, chances of you being successful with those cards is more rare than if you just stick to the fundamentals, stick to what you're good with, stick to the things you know work. For that reason, I craft a lot of things that I know that I could get some work out of, like the Phyrexian Obliterator. Not only is it going to be good in kind of a mono black build like this, but also it looks good for control. It looks really good for control. Being able to eliminate your opponent's lands, which is mostly what Phyrexian Obliterator seems to want to do, especially turn 5 or 6 getting this guy down. Your opponent doesn't want to just sacrifice all of their creatures. They're trying to win the game at that point. Well, throw one of these suckers down. They might sacrifice the creatures. They might also sacrifice their lands if they have any creatures if you're playing control, right? Fantastic in kind of an Esper build, as I want to say. Haven't tried it. Looking forward to trying it. But I think we get a lot of use out of this card. And you could get use out of it in kind of a mono black build where you're just trying to get a bunch of creature spam. Creature spam, creature spam, creature spam. Right? Oh, actually, let's go ahead and do this. Since I'm here. Yeah. Don't worry about that. This is a deck that's going to be coming out as well. Another card that I have crafted is the Mandrake Glory Dominus for 2 reasons, right? Wedding announcement and this card look like they should be married, and rabble rousing along with the Mandrake seems really insane. And if you throw a Broker's Ascendancy in there, everything gets +1/+1 every turn. Seems ridiculously overpowered. And throw in the Gala Greeters because I had 4 copies of Gala Greeters lying around, and that looks good for this kind of build. And then just a bunch of creature spam and a little bit of control, right? It's fun, but also Mandrake works in my preferred playstyle, which is control. Yeah, get this guy out, get a wedding announcement out, and you double those tokens. Pretty solid stuff if you're trying to play control. You create Teferi tokens. Guess what? Mandrake doubles them. You Wandering Emperor, and you create Vigilance guys, the Samurais, right? You double them with the Mandrake. Brilliant card for a control build. Brilliant card. Therefore, I crafted it. But the only reason I crafted it, even though I'm playing it in different decks, is to eventually make a control build that utilizes Mandrake Glory Dominus. And it's going to be wonderful. Yeah. That's all I wanted to say. Wanted to get up on a soapbox for a little while and talk about what you should do when new sets come out. And the answer is nothing. You shouldn't do anything. Understand that they're part of the meta now, right? But understand that the things you see in the first month are not going to be anywhere near where the meta is, because things change rapidly in the arena, in standard. But you know what has never changed? Not even once. Not even once can we say Teferi is a bad card. Yet, still early on in his couple of years in Standard, but I highly doubt people will say that this is not fantastic. Shieldra the Apocalypse will always be one of the strongest cards in Standard until it rotates. Voidrend is still the best removal in the game. Farewells are still going to be wiping boards. Wandering Emperors are still going to be that dangerous card you have to be looking for. You have to play around the Wandering Emperor if you see 4 mana up and 2 white. That is part of Magic the Gathering. The mean will shift. The card balance will shift strongly towards Phyrexia. All will be 1. But just for a little bit of time, and we'll move back towards that mean, where Teferi will do its thing, Shieldred will do its thing, the Wandering Emperor will do her thing, and we will have a Standard that is slightly different, but not significantly so. I cannot tell you the amount of times that I've seen poison decks in the past week. It has been insane. It's been mostly poison stuff because it's brand new and people want to be playing it. But how many of those will again have buyer's remorse? I'm guessing quite a few. And that's why we play on a very strict budget in Magic the Gathering Arena. I don't like buyer's remorse. It makes me feel bad, man. So I'm not going to craft anything for a while. If I get the cards, great. I'm waiting for quick draft. I am waiting for quick draft. And while I'm waiting, I'm going to still try to compete, but compete with decks I know will win. Thank you for joining today. It was a bit of a rant video, maybe an informational video. It is what I am doing in Magic the Gathering Arena right now while we're waiting for quick drafts, and thought I'd just pop in and talk about some of my Lamentations, talk about some of my strategies going forward in order to continue to build this account up to have every single card in Magic the Gathering Arena. It is a slog. It will take so long to do, especially considering that I have very few cards all the way through here. As you can see, this profile used to play back in the day, right? And kind of popped in and out of the arena. But now that I have this channel, it is going to be consistent. I'm going to consistently play the game, but I am not spending $10,000 in order to craft all of the cards. That will come with time. Join me in that journey to do just that. Thank you for joining. Make sure that you've liked the video and subscribed to the channel. Channel is doing fantastic, and that is thanks to you guys out there. If you want to watch me build this account up from basically scratch to being a competitive top line profile, subscribe to the channel and you will see all kinds of decks come out. You will see all kinds of content related to budget playing. You will see all kinds of content related to kind of ranting. I do that quite a bit, actually. So if you enjoyed this, subscribe to the channel. You'll see more. That's all I have for you today. Bye.